A very good evening and welcome to BCN News. The government has already started with the construction of a new power station. According to the Premier Delton Tangilanghi, plans for a new power station was in the pipeline last year with the former government, and earlier this year it has been confirmed to proceed. The project is funded by Australia, which includes the procurement of 2 generators and the construction of the new building, which has already started.
That project is it's more supporting the current power system that we have now. So that has already been started, and this has been on the pipeline since last year, and it was confirmed early this year for the COVID to go ahead. And that is all, it's funded by Australia.
BCN News asked if there was an EIA conducted on this project. The Premier said that the process of conducting the EIA is ongoing. During the press conference, the Premier said that he did not know the full cost of the project. The construction of the new power station has already started at Kaimisi, next to Telecom Niue.
I'm not quite sure what it is at the moment. I know that they have already received or paid for the 2 generators and also for the building itself, which is already started. So I'm not quite sure at the moment what was the total cost for the setup.
The existing power station at Tuwila was flooded earlier this year during a record rainfall, which forced an emergency national power shutdown. The successful contractor for the project is Mautama Constructions, the same company which built the Joint Emergency Operations Centre at Funuokula. Upon hearing the news on radio, MP Olive Jacobson raised her concerns about the lack of consultation with the residents in the area and that it is also near the hospital. Jacobson also raised a concern in relation to the environmental and social impact assessment. She says it seems as if it was an afterthought rather than due process required before beginning the construction. Upgrading roadworks by China Railway Group will resume subject to the reopening of borders. Premier Delton Tangilanghi says Chinese workers will be allowed back into the country to carry out the upgrading works as soon as the border is open from New Zealand as well as Niue's borders. From October 2019, the Project Management Coordination Unit had revealed details of the Niue Road Rehabilitation Project that will be undertaken by the China Railway Group. The design plan will include 134 new streetlights, 46.1 kilometers slurry sealed road, around 2 kilometers of safety barriers, 2.7 kilometers of new footpaths from Alofi to the airport, 92 new safety designs, village traffic calming using speed bumps, and lane narrowing. PMCU confirmed to BCN News China Railway First Group have been allocated land at Kaimisi for accommodation, project office and recreation areas. Civil and Quarry had already prepared machinery compound at Amanau, with the road building machinery first shipment already on the island. And the Premier has also confirmed that government will be supporting the rebuilding of the Broadcasting Corporation of Niue, which was partially damaged in an early morning fire incident on May 19th. The fire damaged BCN TV operation room, TV and radio studios with an estimated cost of over $1 million. Currently, BCN staff members are operating out of temporary studios at the foyer with the damaged studios sealed off. During a press conference last Friday, the Premier, as the Minister for Commercial Agencies, which includes BCN, was asked whether there will be financial assistance provided by government towards the rebuilding of BCN. The report on the BCN fire has been tabled in the previous cabinet meeting but still awaits the outcome of the investigation by police and the inquest. Prominent businesses on the island remain optimistic with investments into expanding their businesses despite COVID-19 impacts. Since the border closure from March this year, the tourism sector has been the most affected. Majority of businesses on the island are tourism-related, with majority in accommodation. One of the accommodation business owners is Avi Rubin, who has continued operating his businesses despite the border closure and has even expanded with the construction of a brewery facility and new bar behind his sushi restaurant in Alofi.
I wasn't expecting the virus to hit us so hard, and the complete death of the tourist industry, for us for the last few months. So I was building a brewery here, and infusing local things like the honey and the pineapple and lime and other things to make it really interesting sort of beers. So about 5 beers altogether. So the brewery part is done. The brewer was supposed to come in May, couldn't make it because of the isolation and everything else. So everything is on hold as far as brewing the beer. And I built here a place where I thought people can enjoy the beer, have a bit of a view, and there's a dance floor and a karaoke bar and everything else just to enhance the atmosphere. And I was targeting late hours, like from 5 to 9 or something, to 11 maybe. But everything is on hold now. Big investment, but I'm hoping that it will happen next year.
Ruben, who has been living in Niue for over 30 years, believes optimism is needed in business in order to survive.
So we have the restaurant, Kaika, in the front, and my wife have a small accommodation place that is completely shut down. And we have a fishing business that also is tourism related, so again, we took a big hit on that. But when you're in business, you have to be optimistic. Otherwise, you never get into business. So we always, trying to look at the half full cup, and hopefully it will get full, next year.
Niue Vanilla Managing Director Stanley Kaloni and his team has started operating services for Niue Rentals from the newly built premises in Alofi, an investment of more than $400,000.
Ever since we planned to expand or to a proper workshop and headquarters for our business, that was like 2.5-3 years ago. When the planning stage to start, we never thought we would get to this stage now that we actually moved in and now enjoy the place that finally is all done. Just a little things here and there to do, cosmetics and otherwise. But we're very, very happy we're here, and the place really works really well for us. Staff are very happy with the facilities. We have a really good workshop, a lot of storage, and space for everyone. It's really, really nice to be here. So we're very happy.
The Niue Vanilla businessman started exporting vanilla products into new lucrative markets in Europe last year and plans to venture into coffee farming. Kaloni believes the current pandemic has proven that we should not rely too heavily on tourism and diversify into other lucrative sectors, particularly agriculture.
That part of the business operation is going really, really well, even with the COVID-19. Our farm is actually thriving at the moment. The vines are growing really well. We are harvesting close to 20 kilos a week now of green beans, which is in comparison to what we normally harvest over the years. 20 kilos is, I think that's the total number of our harvest 4 or 5 years ago. And to have that quantity on harvest now per week, it's very, very promising. And of course, we have coffee on the ground. They're growing really, really well here. The climate really suits it. And we are looking forward. Perhaps by next year, we'll have some coffee beans available directly from our farm, which we will infuse with our vanilla and have it ready for the market. Even with the COVID-19, harvesting vanilla and curing, we can actually cure them and have them stored, because with vacuum packing, they last for years. So hopefully once the COVID-19 is all sorted, we'll be able to actually go to our normal exhibitions around the world and continue with our exports as well. We are doing some exports now out of New Zealand. We're sending a few stock over to Auckland so they can actually serve our regular and loyal customers. But this looks very, very promising at the moment, both the vanilla and coffee going forward. So I too hope that the growers here are encouraged to go back to the vanilla farms and start maintaining it, bring it back to production again, and also start growing coffee plants, because there is a future in those production, especially for export.
The Premier Delton Tangilangi has called on everyone to work together, a partnership between government, the public sector and the media. The Premier made the comments while speaking at a media workshop hosted by the Broadcasting Corporation of Niue, supported by the Pacific Media Assistance Scheme, which focused on COVID-19 communications. Tangilangi highlighted the importance of an open government approach in being forthcoming with information to avoid the public speculating. He told the participants that all substantial matters approved by Cabinet will be delivered through a press conference. Meanwhile, Chief of Police Timothy Wilson, who is the head of the National Disaster Management Office, said the focal point for communications by the Disaster Council is the NDMO office. He says there's a symbiotic relationship between the media and government departments, and we have to get the right information out. These are fundamental democratic principles, said Wilson. Director General of Health and Social Services Gayleen Tasmania said one of the biggest lessons learned by the Health Department was their weakness in communication, which resulted in the recent establishment of a Risk Communication and Community Engagement Task Force. The workshop officially started on Friday, July 3rd and will continue into the next 2 Fridays of July 10th and July 17th, including speakers from the National Disaster Council, government, private sector, and civil society. It is aimed at improving coordination of information around COVID-19 in efforts to keep the public well informed. And finally, the Pasisi family name is often associated with setting and breaking fishing records on the island. This was the case yet again on Saturday morning when Paul Pasisi caught a massive 227.65 kg black marlin off the far fed at Namkulu. Paul Pasisi was taking part in the Alofi South Marine Day fishing competition hosted by the Alofi South Village Council. Pasisi told BCN News that it took a whole yellowfin tuna bait on his long line to land the massive fish. It took about 25 minutes to kill it and tie it to the boat, with another 30 minutes to haul it onto the boat, with help from fellow fisherman Darren Mangatungia, who was passing by trawling and stopped to help Paul lift the fish onto the boat. This is not the first time Paul Pasisi has landed a massive marlin. He and his sister Carl Pasisi caught another 219 kg about 25 years ago, which was the record until Saturday when Paul hauled in the massive 227.65 kg black marlin. According to Paul, the fish has been sold and filleted up for a special haircutting ceremony soon. The celebration continued long into the evening at the Kalaone Sea Track for the fishermen and the village of Alofi South last Saturday evening, but the day belonged to Paul Pasisi and his 227.65 kg black marlin. And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Do join us same time tomorrow. Until then, have a safe evening.